A young woman, Qian, is forced into an arranged marriage without ever seeing her groom's face. Even as she sits in the wedding chamber, his identity remains a mystery. Trapped, with no chance of turning back even after the wedding night, she anxiously grips her hands, a mix of fear and anticipation swirling within her. Just 2 days earlier, Qian, a Michelin star chef nearing 30, was on her 99 blind date, orchestrated by her persistent mother. Qian believes finding a husband is like cooking. It requires meticulous selection and careful preparation. While enjoying a movie, her mother interrupts, urging her to take a flower and identify the man holding a rose as her date. Spotting him, Qian stuffs the flower into her mother's mouth and runs for it. Mid-chase, her mother reveals a heartbreaking truth. She's terminally ill, hence the relentless matchmaking. As Qian rushes back to her mother, a car speeds towards her. Strange memories flash through her mind, like a movie reel in the hazy space between life and death. She sees a girl who looks just like her, called a lowly concubine's daughter, constantly bullied and unable to fight back. The girl is from the Su family and is being forced to marry a hairy general in place of another daughter. Qian wakes up, instinctively searching for her mother. Confused, she remembers the accident but finds herself in an unfamiliar place. A maid, eerily familiar from the memory flashes, attends to her. Qian's constant mentions of her deceased grandmother frighten the maid, named Ying. The realization hits her, she's inside the very drama she was watching. Panicked, Qian tries to knock herself unconscious, hoping to return home. But fear and pain hold her back. Just as she wonders if she's trapped in this character's life, a voice, her mother's, echoes in her head. To return to her world, she must find true love and, well, consummate it. Qian cringes. Not only does she have to find love, but she has to lose her virginity in this strange world. The clock is ticking. She has only 49 days before she vanishes completely. Desperate, she asks Ying about the original Qian's love life. No boyfriend, but a wedding is scheduled for tomorrow. The realization dawns. She's marrying the hairy general in place of her scheming sister. Speak of the devil, the sister appears, scaring Ying, but not Qian, who's adopted a hilariously unladylike demeanor, ready to cause some chaos in this new world. With a sharp tongue, Qian confronts her tormentors, declaring that no one deserves to be mistreated, regardless of their birth. Despite her fiery words, she's outnumbered and subjected to a humiliating public drenching at the general's mansion. The general, bound by duty, marries a woman he doesn't love. Due to his unique cultivation practice, he's covered in unusual hair growth, which will only disappear upon achieving mastery. His subordinates suggest shaving before the wedding night, but he refuses. In the wedding chamber, Qian is a nervous wreck. The thought of consummating the marriage with a stranger terrifies her, especially since her return home depends on it. Facing the hairy groom, she steels herself, attempting self-hypnosis and reaching out to undress him. But the cold-faced general rebuffs her, declaring she's unworthy of him, and only marrying him due to a royal decree. He warns her to know her place and behave accordingly as his wife. Insulted, Qian retorts that while she may not be a stunning beauty, she's certainly not undesirable. In a fit of anger, she grabs a vase and smacks him over the head. The impact knocks her back, and miraculously, the general's hair disappears, revealing a strikingly handsome face. Somehow, she's inadvertently helped him complete his cultivation ahead of schedule. Now faced with a hottie, Qian is more than willing to consummate the marriage for a quick trip back home. After all, sleeping with a handsome man isn't a bad way to end her accidental time travel. Unfortunately, the general rejects her advances, wanting nothing to do with her. Ouch. Her mission suddenly seems much harder. She should have found a boyfriend back home. Undeterred, Qian relies on her wit, charm, and culinary skills, determined to win over Mr. Coldface. Her drama-watching experience tells her she's been banished to the Cold Palace. How will she complete her mission now? Meanwhile, the general receives a letter. His mother is coming to visit, requiring Qian's presence as his wife. Qian relishes the pampering and service she receives, fantasizing about the general begging for her favor. The reality, however, is different. While feeling fierce inside, she plays the meek and obedient wife. She has to survive after all. Little does she know that General Jun Yao has a beautiful younger sister, adding another layer of complexity to her situation. He agrees to grant her any reasonable request, not wanting to be indebted to her. Qian, delighted, suggests a celebratory high five. However, being a mere mortal, she's unprepared for the force of the general's palm strike, which sends her reeling. Thankfully, he catches her, showing a flicker of concern. From that day on, Qian prepares a diverse array of dishes for her mother-in-law, never repeating a single one. Even Sichuan, the general's aide, wonders if she's some kind of culinary goddess. Jun Yao, growing suspicious, orders Zixuan to investigate Qian. As soon as Zixuan leaves, Jing Ruo arrives. It's revealed that Jun Yao's gentleness towards her stems from a childhood incident where she saved his life. He intended to marry her, and she clearly reciprocated those feelings. Qian, eavesdropping, can't help but roll her eyes at this cliché. The mother-in-law arrives, interrupting their moment and pulling Qian away, effectively cock-blocking the would-be couple. She inquires about the empress's health and praises Qian, much to Jing Ruo's annoyance. The mother-in-law's timely arrival thwarts Jing Ruo's plans. Suspecting Qian's involvement, Jing Ruo shoots her a venomous glare, noticed by Ying. Jun Yao wonders how to handle his mother's obvious favoritism towards Qian. While grilling fish with Ying, a man in white steals it, criticizing her for being a general's wife and residing in such a shabby place. He's lucky she doesn't call him out. Qian boasts that she can cook anything he brings. As he leaves, she contemplates his expensive attire, figuring he must be wealthy or influential. Perhaps a connection with him could help her win over the general? The next day, the man, Nang Hao, brings a bag of flour, declaring that a true chef can create miracles. He compliments Qian's skills, recognizing her as a 3-star chef. Confidently, she claims to be the best chef in this era. The aroma from her baking attracts Zixuan, and Jun Yao decides to investigate. Nang Hao, intrigued by the unfamiliar cakes, drools in anticipation. When Zixuan and Jun Yao enter, Qian discovers Nang Hao is the third prince. While he washes his hands, she plans to feed him a cake to provoke Jun Yao's jealousy. The plan doesn't seem to work. The general remains aloof, warning her not to cause trouble. The next day, the audacious Nang Hao sends gifts to the general's mansion and mentions his wife. He suggests he could ask the emperor to retract the marriage decree and allow him to marry Jing Ruo. However, given Jing Ruo's connection to the empress, that's unlikely. Zixuan returns from his investigation, revealing that Jun Yao was tricked into marrying Qian, the lowly third daughter of the Su family, born to a concubine. The 2 older daughters refuse the marriage, leaving Qian, the third daughter, as the replacement. The other young women in the city considered the general a beast. Zixuan realizes that this woman is a true hero, unafraid of the hairy general and willing to endure hardship. Meanwhile, Nang Hao, noticing Qian's dejection, boisterously offers to deal with anyone who upset her. Upon hearing Jun Yao's name, he dramatically begs Qian to switch targets, switching to the second Su daughter instead. He even promises to have someone beat her up. Despite knowing the truth about Qian's identity, Jun Yao doesn't seem inclined to change anything, and orders Zixuan to keep the secret. He interrupts Qian while she's preparing food for the third prince. Claiming she shouldn't be there, she retorts, "Where should I be then? In the sky?" To his surprise, Qian reveals their fake relationship to Nang Hao. She frankly states their marriage is purely transactional. Nang Hao asks Jun Yao to give Qian to him, offering to obtain an imperial decree if necessary. Jun Yao's male pride finally kicks in, and he pulls Qian towards him, saving her from further awkwardness. The 2 men tug of war over Qian, leaving her in pain. Unable to bear it any longer, she yells at them to stop. Thankfully, the mother-in-law arrives, rescuing her from this uncomfortable situation. Today, she visited the temple to pray for a child, specifically for a pregnancy tonic. Qian nearly gags on the bitter concoction, but can't refuse the mother-in-law. Jun Yao drinks him, so Qian grimaces and swallows hers. The mother-in-law has even arranged a special room for the couple, complete with a doctor on standby. Looks like there's no escaping the wedding night now. After drinking the tonic, Qian feels dizzy, lightheaded, and flushed. Did the mother-in-law slip an aphrodisiac in there? Although she's eager to complete the mission and return home, Jun Yao sits passively with his eyes closed. He recalls his mother's words about the normalcy of multiple wives, but not with Jing Ruo, due to her family's powerful influence. The emperor is already wary of his mother's family, and marrying Jing Ruo would raise suspicions. His family's reputation for integrity is at stake. Tired of waiting, Qian Qian makes the first move, only to have Jun Yao restrain her and warn her off. He's clearly not getting the hint. Her back aches from his rough handling. Undeterred, she tries to fall onto him for a kiss. He pushes her down, and they tumble onto the bed in a tangled mess. He remains frustratingly uncooperative, acupressure immobilizing her and then removing both their clothes, claiming he's hot. Seriously, words fail. Whether or not anything happened between Jun Yao and Qian Qian, her reputation is now tied to him. She'll never be able to marry anyone else at this time. Qian Qian can't fathom why he's being so hesitant. It's just one night to make a baby. Jun Yao, in turn, finds her straightforward attitude shockingly unconventional. Of course, she's a modern woman in an ancient body. How could she be like the demure ladies of this era? Besides, he is technically her husband. Who else should she sleep with? Does she want to be a widow? Jing Ruo, informed by her maid, is furious and plots to sabotage the newlyweds. The couple, after calming down, begin negotiations. Qian Qian lays down 3 conditions. First, despite being married, she wants her freedom. No caged bird life for her. Second, money talks. He must provide for her financially. Third, he has to smile. Jun Yao, having never smiled before, manages a twitchy grimace that almost makes Qian Qian spit out her water. Suddenly, Jun Yao senses someone outside. Quick thinking, Qian Qian lets out a moan. The eavesdropping mama rushes to inform the mother-in-law. Another interruption. Jing Ruo's maid arrives, revealing that Jing Ruo has feigned a heart attack to lure Jun Yao away. Qian Qian, seizing the opportunity, pretends to know medicine and starts treating Jing Ruo, even threatening acupuncture. Jing Ruo, sweating nervously, is clearly faking. Her maid tries to stop Qian Qian but to no avail. As Qian Qian prepares to insert the needle, Jing Ruo jumps up, perfectly healthy, calling out for Jun Yao and declaring her miraculous recovery upon seeing him. Disgusted by their fake affection, Qian Qian repeatedly pokes the pillow with the needle. The maid suggests Jun Yao take Jing Ruo to a temple for blessings, to repay his childhood debt. Jun Yao agrees, needing to clarify their relationship. Qian Qian is seething. Her wedding night is ruined. Jing Ruo hasn't seen the last of her. That night, Qian Qian dreams of her mother. Waking up determined, she vows to seduce Jun Yao and return home. She sneaks into Jing Ruo's room, uses sleeping incense, and delivers a series of slaps. The next morning, Jing Ruo wakes up with a bruised and swollen face. While discussing this with Ying Ying, Ziwan arrives, and Qian Qian asks a burning question. Is the general really broke? Zixuan confirms that Jun Yao is practically the poorest high-ranking official in the capital, donating his salary and savings to his soldiers, including generous stipends for veterans. Looks like Qian Qian needs to step up her money-making game. Before she can even begin, the mother-in-law summons her and presents her with a chest overflowing with jewels and treasures. Jackpot. So even if her husband strays, Qian Qian won't bat an eye. She even downs a bitter medicinal tonic without complaint. Gossip spreads among the servants that the mistress isn't favored. Hearing of Jing Ruo's illness, Qiang Jun, Jing Ruo's maid, rushes to her side. Consumed by jealousy, Qian Qian confronts Jing Ruo, behaving like a shrew, even threatening violence. The mother-in-law overhears the commotion and investigates. Meanwhile, Qian Qian, disguised as a man, goes out with Ying Ying, also in disguise, to make some money. Upon learning that Jing Ruo started the rumors to damage Qian Qian's reputation, the mother-in-law is furious. She realizes Jing Ruo would be a disruptive force in their family. Experienced in handling such drama, she quickly puts an end to the squabbling and sends a message to Jun Yao, ordering him to oversee military drills outside the capital. For added legitimacy, she uses her status as the eldest princess to inform the emperor. While Jing Ruo enjoys a stroll with Jun Yao, feigning a sprained ankle, soldiers arrive with the emperor's decree. Jun Yao leaves Jing Ruo with her maid and departs. Meanwhile, Qian Qian meets with a real estate agent, looking for a suitable shop to buy. The agent takes her to a large, desirable property. However, the owner demands a hefty 1,000 gold taels. To make matters worse, a fat, entitled official from the Ministry of Revenue arrives and starts harassing her. This isn't good. Back at the mansion, the mother-in-law feigns concern for Jing Ruo's injured ankle and punishes Xiang Jun for neglecting her duties. She then subtly warns Jing Ruo to stay out of the couple's affairs, calling her a shameless homewrecker. As punishment, she makes Jing Ruo eat Qianqian's pastries, while Xiang Jun endures a beating. Qianqian is still being harassed by the fat official, who demands 1,000 gold taels and a groveling apology for his emotional distress. She's baffled. She hasn't done anything wrong. Outnumbered, she claims to be from the general's mansion, but lacks proof. The official, confident she's lying, orders his men to attack. Just then, Nan Gonghao arrives. The arrogant official, unaware of Nan Gonghao's true identity, orders his men to break his legs. However, Nan Gonghao, being a prince, has some martial arts skills and manages to defend himself against the thugs. His men, unable to defeat Nan Gonghao, resort to boasting about their master's status as a wealthy, first-rank official. Big deal. Nan Gonghao's background is even more impressive. The official, still losing, threatens to call the city guard. Meanwhile, Nan Gonghao and Qian, ignoring the blustering fool, learning about Qian's restaurant plans. Nan Gonghao offers to invest, framing it as prepaying for meals. They shake hands just as the city guard arrives. The official falsely accuses Qian of robbery and assault. The clueless guard captain fails to recognize the third prince and tries to arrest them. Just as they're about to be taken away, Nan Gonghao whispers to Qian about an imperial jade pendant. Unfortunately, she pawned it earlier for a pittance. He makes a quick escape. Suddenly, Jun Yao appears and whisks Qian away, leaving the stunned official and guard captain begging for mercy. Jun Yao ignores them, taking Qian to his mansion to tend her wounds. If before, Qian sought love as a means to return home, now her heart truly belongs to him. He promises to send Zishuan with 100 guards for her protection. Qian, ever opportunistic, requests tall, handsome, and strong guards for maximum security. This girl, always pushing her luck. 2 eavesdropping guards witness the couple's intimacy, but still believe Jun Yao's true affection lies with Jing Ruo. In the palace, the Empress Dowager summons Qian. She's immediately charmed by Qian's wit and lively personality. Qian inwardly congratulates herself on making a good impression. Returning to his palace, Nan Gonghao makes excuses to his servants, claiming that fighting in public is beneath his dignity. He gives Qian the deed to the property, downplaying the cost. He insists she's more important than money. To ease any awkwardness, she proposes a partnership, envisioning a nationwide chain of restaurants. Back in Jun Yao's quarters, his guards inform him about Jing Ruo, spreading rumors to ruin Qian's reputation. He's too irresistibly charming, attracting unwanted attention. His leniency towards Jing Ruo also contributes to the problem. He doesn't reprimand her for the lies, which would surely upset Qian if she knew. Jun Yao explains that Jing Ruo saved him from kidnappers as a child. Grateful, he promised her lifelong repayment for her kindness. He emphasizes that gratitude isn't love, and that he can repay her in other ways. Jun Yao is firm in his stance, difficult to sway. That night, Jing Ruo summons Qian. They engage in a seemingly rehearsed exchange of pleasantries. Qian praises Jing Ruo's elegance and purity, which flatters her. Jing Ruo offers Qian health tea, brewed with rare snow mountain herbs. Qian feels uneasy, sensing something amiss. She pushes Jing Ruo to get to the point. Jing Ruo apologizes for the previous night's incident and the rumors, blaming a loose-lipped maid whom she claims to have disciplined. Qian, noticing the maid limping, reflects on the harsh realities of ancient times. She accepts the apology and returns to her room. The next morning, while contemplating the cost of opening a 5-star restaurant in this era, Jun Yao enters, looking serious. He questions her about stealing Jing Ruo's phoenix hairpin. That scheming woman. After feigning reconciliation, she now accuses Qian of theft. Jing Ruo dramatically begs for the hairpin's return, offering a box of treasures in exchange. Exasperated, Qian delivers an Oscar-worthy performance, questioning Jun Yao's judgment. With her mother-in-law's generous gifts, why would she steal? Jun Yao orders his guards to search every pawnshop in the capital. Jing Ruo continues her theatrical weeping. The hairpin is found at a pawnshop, pawned by someone named Qian. A perfect setup. Jun Yao loses faith in her, questioning why she would resort to such a lowly act when she could have asked him for money. Qian asks the pawnbroker if he remembers the person who pawned the hairpin, but he doesn't, claiming too many customers come through. Just as she's trapped, Nang Hao arrives to the rescue. He calls for Hong Qing, the pawnbroker's lover. Fearing for his girlfriend, the pawnbroker confesses that Jing Ruo's maid pawned the hairpin, forging Qian's signature. The maid turns to Jing Ruo, pleading for help. Exposed, Jing Ruo blames her maid, hoping Qian will forgive her. But after everything, forgiveness is out of the question. Those responsible must face the consequences. After a moment of silence, Jun Yao reprimands Jing Ruo, stating that while punishing a servant isn't his place, she harmed his wife, making punishment unavoidable. He takes her aside and apologizes for his earlier suspicion, admitting he was blinded by anger. She forgives him, but points out that as a general, his inability to discern right from wrong could have dire consequences. Jun Yao questions her relationship with Nang Hao, forbidding her from getting too close to him. It seems our general is experiencing a pang of jealousy. The next morning, Zixuan boasts that he could have easily solved the hairpin mystery, but his concern for Qian makes him rush to judgment. Based on his vast experience with romance, he declares that Jun Yao must be in love with Qian. Jun Yao vehemently denies it, listing her flaws: average looks, messy, lazy, and greedy. He can't even stand to look at her, let alone love her. But when a servant brings food prepared by Qian, his delight betrays him. Moments ago, he couldn't care less. Now he's guarding her food like a treasure. Classic tsundere behavior. Meanwhile, Jing Ruo's maid returns from her punishment, and they plot new ways to eliminate Qian. The maid is constantly taking the fall for her mistress, but despite her injuries, she continues to scheme. The mother-in-law summons Qian to discuss the restaurant. To Qian's surprise, she's fully supportive. Qian honestly admits her motivation is money. In her world, money is essential for survival. She eloquently explains that everything requires money, from basic necessities to pursuing one's ambitions. Carried away, she forgets her current status as a duke's daughter. The mother-in-law, touched by her story, praises her resourcefulness and pledges the Su family's support. She showers Qian with more gifts and tonics. Qian, clearly anticipating the wedding night, even dreams of intimacy with Jun Yao. The grand opening of Qian's restaurant arrived, with all food offered free of charge. Jing Ruo sees with jealousy, but still has a card to play: the easily offended Lady Sun. Lady Sun arrives with her entourage, threatening to destroy the restaurant if Qian doesn't appear. Nang Hao personally greets them. Lady Sun, unaware she's poking a hornet's nest, orders her people to start smashing things. As Nang Hao moves to intervene, Qian stops him, seemingly unconcerned. She lets them wreck the place, planning to charge them triple the damages. City Guard Captain Zheng arrives, addressing Nang Hao and Qian as Your Highness and Madam, respectively. He arrests the vandals. The restaurant's first day is a massive financial success, paving the way for expansion. Delivery services, specialized chefs, and a nationwide chain. Business in ancient times is booming. Excited, Qian stumbles, but Nang Hao catches her. A servant witnesses their interaction, and Jing Ruo's plan backfires spectacularly. But she's not one to give up easily. Gossiping aunties in the restaurant spread rumors about the general's wife spending time with another man, warning others against bringing their husbands to the restaurant, lest they be seduced. Zixuan, dressed in green and carrying leafy branches, decorates Jun Yao's bath with similar foliage, subtly hinting at infidelity. The next morning, Jing Ruo stages a scene, forbidding her servants from mentioning the third prince, escorting Qian home, ensuring Jun Yao overhears. The general is now thoroughly jealous. That evening, he summons Qian, threatening to come to her if she refuses. Expecting a simple conversation, Qian is surprised when Jun Yao requests a bath. As she tries to leave, he pulls her close, his intense gaze making her blush. She reluctantly agrees, experiencing her first time undressing a man. The mother-in-law, overhearing this, is delighted and orders a special tonic for the couple. Qian tries to escape after the bath, but Jun Yao stops her, declaring her his woman and off-limits to others. He seals the declaration with a passionate kiss. Just as things heat, another interruption. Someone calls for Qian Qian, ruining the mood. Jun Yao clings to her like a magnet, glaring at the newcomer, Nang Gonghao. Neither man is willing to back down. They exchange heated glances, barely restrained by Qian Qian's presence. The tension continues at dinner, with Nang Gonghao scowling as the couple exchanges affectionate gestures. This episode is pure fan service. During the celebratory toast, Nang Gonghao drinks alone, sulking. Both men offer Qian Qian food, creating an awkward situation. Jun Yao questions why Nang Gonghao is serving his woman. Nang Gonghao claims it's because she's his business partner. Obediently, Qian Qian tells Nang Gonghao to stop flirting in front of her husband. Rejected, Nang Gonghao storms off. Qian Qian feels down, missing her mother and dreading her birthday in this strange world. Jun Yao finds her and carries her to the rooftop, promising to celebrate her birthday with her. They watch lanterns float across the sky, a romantic moment. Meanwhile, Jing Ruo, reprimanded by the Empress, has failed to win Jun Yao and faces pressure from her family. The Emperor's grip on power is weakening, and she's running out of time. Trouble strikes at the restaurant. Customers claim the food is poisoned and start a fight. Qian Qian tries to intervene, but is pushed aside. Jun Yao arrives with Zixuan and swiftly dispatches the troublemakers, not giving Nang Gonghao a chance to play the hero. He scoops Qian Qian into his arms and carries her back to her room, leaving Nang Gonghao fuming. Back at the mansion, while tending to Qian Qian's minor injury, Jun Yao suddenly pulls her close. She winces, and he apologizes, resuming his gentle touch. This is better than a massage. Her arm feels instantly better. She wonders why trouble keeps finding her. Is it jealousy over her restaurant success? Mid-ramble, Jun Yao pulls her into a sweet kiss. The romantic moment is shattered by Zixuan's entrance. This clueless man. Jun Yao tries to signal him to leave, but Zixuan, oblivious, stays put until offered food. Jun Yao wants to make Qian Qian bone-strengthening soup, and she, in turn, insists he stays with her. He knows Jing Ruo is behind the restaurant incident. The general's mansion is no longer a suitable place for her. Jing Ruo dramatically declares her love for Jun Yao, even threatening suicide unsuccessfully. Rejected, she runs to the Empress for help. The Empress assures her that her plan is almost ready. Qian Qian's culinary skills earn her a place in the Empress Dowager's kitchen. The Empress Dowager, enjoying the delicious food, is in high spirits. The Emperor, pleased, bestows upon Qian Qian the title of fifth princess. Previously, Qian Qian had a maid named Xiang Er, who was murdered by the second Mrs. Underlings. Revenge time. She finds the perfect opportunity to confront Han Yan, the second miss, taunting her until she snaps. Han Yan orders her guards to attack Qian Qian, but she's now a princess. Before they can react, Qian Qian slaps Han Yan across the face. With newfound wealth and power, she offers a reward for anyone who can teach Han Yan a lesson. 1 tael of silver per punch. Han Yan is beaten black and blue, much to Qian Qian's satisfaction. Su Guogong, their father, arrives, demanding justice for his beloved daughter. Seeing the fifth princess, he quickly changes his tune, fawning over Qian Qian. With her mother-in-law's backing, Qian Qian demands her dowry, presenting a long list of items her father owes her. Han Yan protests, but the mother-in-law scolds her for her lack of manners. Han Yan is forced to apologize, but Qian Qian is more interested in her dowry. Su Guogong tearfully accepts the list. Qian Qian also demands Han Yan's loyal servant, who receives a similar beating, much to their amusement. The next morning, while instructing the Empress Dowager on nutrition and exercise, the Empress suddenly vomits and collapses. Was foul play involved? The imperial physician diagnoses a severe but unknown poison. Unable to identify the poison or its cure, Qian Qian is forced to kneel before the main hall, pleading for the Empress Dowager's recovery. Jun Yao joins her, vowing to protect her, even if the sky falls. He suspects someone is targeting the Su family. The somber atmosphere makes Qian Qian long for home, but Jun Yao reassures her, holding her hand. Accused of poisoning the Empress Dowager, Qian Qian is imprisoned, and Jun Yao is stripped of his title and authority, and thrown into the same dungeon. Ying Ying urges Nang Hong to break them out, but he lacks the courage. He does, however, manage to bribe the guards for a visit. The dungeon is a grim place, with heavy chains and shackles creating a suffocating atmosphere. Despite their predicament, the couple seems surprisingly relaxed, enjoying each other's company, and even sharing food with the guards. Qian Qian's adaptability shines through. Jun Yao requests an audience with the emperor. Nan Gonghao devises a plan, and just as they mention the emperor, he appears. Evidence of treason is found in Jun Yao's study. He's been framed. The emperor, believing the fabricated evidence, presents them with a grim choice. One of them must die. Qian Qian, refusing to give up, chooses to sacrifice herself so Jun Yao can live. Having already died once, she feels she's cheated fate long enough. She hopes he'll live well after she's gone, believing he'll eventually forget her. Being with Jun Yao has used up all her good luck. As the mission deadline approaches, Qian Qian feels a growing sadness. She thought she'd be relieved, but facing her impending demise brings unexpected regret and heartache. The couple shares a passionate kiss, a desperate attempt to forget their troubles. The emperor's decree arrives. Jun Yao and Qian Qian, guilty of treason and poisoning the Empress Dowager, are sentenced to immediate execution. The empress seizes the opportunity to replace the emperor's loyal servants, infuriating him. He orders his guards to secure the palace and seal it shut. The empress, unwilling to wait any longer, joins the second prince, Jing Ruo, and General Li, deploying their forces for a coup. Their first step, forging an imperial edict. Nan Gonghao is shocked when his older brother, Nan Gongyu, turns against him and their father. Outnumbered, he chooses discretion over valor and escapes. With the city under lockdown and the imperial guard mobilized, Nan Gonghao fears for his father's safety and returns to the palace. Meanwhile, the empress and her forces storm the palace, cornering the emperor in his study and demanding he cede the throne to the second prince. When he refuses, she orders his execution. But Jun Yao, miraculously alive, bursts in, taking down her soldiers, including General Wang. Qian Qian emerges, cheerfully waving at a stunned Jing Ruo, who can't believe they're both alive. It turns out the emperor was aware of the empress's treachery. He knew she'd been slowly poisoning him, and had Qian Qian brought to the palace to oversee the Empress Dowager's meals. The empress then poisoned the Empress Dowager's food, framing Qian Qian. Fortunately, Qian Qian's quick thinking saved her. To eliminate the emperor's loyalists, the empress conspired with corrupt officials to frame Jun Yao for treason, with Jing Ruo planting false evidence in his mansion. They played along, waiting for the empress to reveal her hand. The empress is utterly defeated. Even now, Jing Ruo calls Jun Yao brother, begging for forgiveness. Jun Yao sees a stranger in the girl who once shared his childhood trauma. How could she change so much, consumed by power and ambition? He sees through her pretense. She wanted to marry the second prince to become empress, not him. She used him when he was useful and discarded him when he wasn't. Jing Ruo, enraged by his harsh words, lashes out. The empress is shocked by her daughter's betrayal, even groveling for mercy. But the emperor remains unmoved, sentencing them both to death. Jun Yao takes Qian Qian to a lakeside and tells her he wants to leave her. She's surprised, but he explains he wants to redo their wedding. Their previous ceremony was too hasty. While feigning disinterest, Qian Qian reveals her excitement, outlining her elaborate demands. A proper procession, 8 palanquin bearers, fireworks, and a 100-mile-long wedding party. She wants to show him that she loves him with her life. She declares her independence, no longer needing to rely on anyone or live under their rules. That night, they share a drink. Jun Yao, seeing her raise a single finger, assumes she can only handle 1 cup, but she proves him wrong, drinking him under the table. Amidst their drunken confessions, Jun Yao rests his head on her shoulder. She gazes at him, promising to stay by his side, no matter what. At 10 p.m. on the 49th day, the sound of a striking clock echoes through the streets. Qian Qian wakes from a nightmare, confessing that she's not afraid of returning to her body, but of losing Jun Yao. She reveals she's not the real Qian Qian, who died before the wedding. He doesn't believe her. The deadline arrives, and she must complete the mission or vanish. Jun Yao comforts her, urging her to cherish their remaining moments. He leans in for a kiss, but she pushes him away. She wants to stay, but it's impossible. Knowing they must fulfill the mission's condition, they share a passionate kiss as thunder rumbles. Back in the modern world, Qian Qian wakes up, embracing her mother and tearfully recounting a beautiful dream. She doesn't want to leave. However, worried about her mother's health, she's glad to be back. To her surprise, her mother is perfectly healthy, just experiencing normal aging. Qian Qian groans, wishing she'd stayed in the dream. Just then, the doctor enters, looking exactly like Jun Yao. Her mother reveals he's her blind date, a doctor. What a coincidence. Qian cries out his name and rushes towards him. They embrace joyfully. Thus concludes the story of The General's Little Chef. A happy ending indeed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.